Close to $1 billion is spent on hosting the G8 G20 summit in city of Toronto this month. And steel fans and concrete block are being put in place to separate the city's resident and protester from the G20 leaders. The security detail include 10,000 police officers, private security guard and soldiers, intelligence analysts, aerial surveillance, motorcades of up to 50 vehicles, and an expensive 3-meter high security fence erected around the Metro Toronto which costs about $5.5 million. While the temporary hiring of security guard will help some of those in need of money, it's too bad I don't have a security guard license. It's quite sad that in a city with so many poor people who are struggling every day for a stable income or a stable job, we can afford so much security for these elite leaders, but so little security for the everyday ordinary citizens with so little support. The unemployment rate in Toronto remains very high at a 9.5%. And even if people who find jobs, it's so easy to lose a job after you find a job. They could be fired, they could be short-term, very temporary, or contract. We're living in precarious time. Being spent on these summits could be a metaphor for the means of gap between the rich and the poor and how desperate the elites are trying to keep the public out of their exclusive club, just like many people are excluded from economic recovery or economic growth that never trickle down to the people who need them. The federal government wants to make it seem like the city is really hosting the summit, but it seems like the city is in a lockdown. Harper being so image obsessed and always wanting a good photo op, standing among the leaders, reminding me of George Bush standing in front of the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln declaring mission accomplished in Iraq. It's phony. It's not grounded in reality. Whatever the people do in the summit has nothing to do with the reality of people who live there. The Harper government even tried to micromanage public demonstration by designating specific free speech zone area for protesters. It's a pretty sad state of affairs when free speech zones are being designated by the free people who elected them. The free speech zone reminds me of those free trade zones where little freedom exists, where sweatshops are being built and labor laws are being ignored. I don't know what they're so afraid of from the public. The massive discontent, perhaps, or the unfairness of the current stage of globalization caused a decline in military spending. Global military expenditure totaled $1.5 trillion in 2009. It might not be a coincidence that the Harper government has announced a budget increase for the correctional services for Canada early this year. If the G20 leaders continue the agenda, we would expect further growth and recovery from the economy, as well as the income gap increasing between the rich and the poor, and the hiring of more police officers and armed forces to protect private properties, to keep the peace.